We have got really exciting news around here, as well as we need to talk about high seas on the Sun Princess, some changes to how much luggage you can take when you're traveling on a train in Europe, so heads up to everyone. Updates to the passport renewal process here in the United States. We need to talk about Norwegian. This is not the first time this has happened, but I think it's a really good heads up and lots more, so let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Friday. It is September 13th of 2024, and it's Friday the 13th, and I hope that is not bad luck for us because today we finally hit the mark of having 25,000 subscribers. So a huge thank you and so much love, Gordon and I, send to each one of you who has subscribed to our channel, and just as importantly, maybe even more importantly, those of you who are here every day with us, who watch our content, who engage with us, who share your experiences. You all are irreplaceable. So thank all 25,000 of you for being here with us. And we are really looking forward to hitting the next milestone and having you all with us. It's an amazing community that you all make up, and we're really grateful to get to be here with you. So thank you. So come and join us this evening on our live. We're going to be starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as always, on Friday nights. We're going to be celebrating having 25,000 subscribers. We've got a lot to talk about with where I'm going next week, with everything on the Love Boat Cruise. We got to talk about the Love Boat Cruise. Lots to talk about, so I will look forward to seeing you then. Now let's talk about high seas on the Sun Princess. I've been following several posts on Facebook of people who are sailing on the Sun Princess right now, and they are indeed having very high seas. The last post that I saw had been put up at about 4 hours ago, and the highest deck that I saw that they were talking about water coming over the balcony was deck 11 on that ship. When you think of the Sun Princess, she is much larger than the Princess ships that have been built before. But deck 11 is still high. That is way up there. She right now is about halfway between Rome and Barcelona, so she is sailing there basically in the Mediterranean, and so it is not normal that they would have quite a high seas in September, but definitely anything can happen at any time. When Gordon looked it up on marine traffic, it showed that she was just going through that, and most of the other ships were over here going kind of more around the storm, but the guests on board so far are reporting that things have calmed down and are not quite as rough as they were, so no reports of damage or anything like that, but just wanted to let you know that sometimes things out of the ordinary can happen. When I hear of these things, I always think about where you book your cabin when you go on a cruise. So always pay attention, especially if you have seasick tendencies or motion bothers you, to where you put your cabin. And a lot of times, we get lulled into the sense of security thinking, we're in the Mediterranean. It's always smooth, but it's not always smooth. Another fun update from the Sun Princess is I noticed that last night they posted photos of sailing past Stromboli. That's a really big deal. So Stromboli is a volcano, and every time, I think from the very first time that I went on a Mediterranean cruise, that we sailed past Stromboli, every single time the captain has come on board, and often they will do it when you're getting a little bit close, but if it's kind of late at night, they will tell you when you're going to sail away. Like if you're sailing away from Messina per se, and you're going to be sailing past Stromboli sometime in the evening, they'll let you know at about what time to be out there, and they really know their thing, as we would expect. They're very accurate, so if they tell you they're going to be sailing by at about 11 p.m., they're going to be sailing by at about 11 p.m. And every time, I don't remember ever sailing by Stromboli and not having the chance to get to see lava coming down. So it's just one of those really amazing experiences there in the Mediterranean. And another thing to keep in mind is when you sail by Stromboli, pay attention, because in not too long you sail by other islands as well, and sometimes you can see the lights in the distance, and I always just think that's a little bit magic. So I thought I would share that with you, but I am really envious of everyone on the Sun Princess today. Wish I were there too. Now let's talk about passports. Yesterday I told you that we would be talking about passport renewal here in the United States. Now before COVID, passport renewal was a little bit more smooth. Didn't have quite such as long of wait times as we have seen as traveling has restarted and come back truly with a vengeance since the end of COVID. And we've had, especially during the high season in the summertime, it's taken a long time for people to renew their passports. Things are better this year though than we saw last year. Things are getting better, but here we also have a brand new program that if you meet certain requirements, you can renew your passport online, which is truly a game changer, because otherwise you kind of had to start all over again almost. Go get your photo again and then fill out the forms. You'd have to send in your old passport with it while you waited for the new passport to come, and then hope that it didn't take too long. You have the option still if you want to pay for the expedited processing and shipping, but thought I would let you know that they have been working on having it so that people can renew online. And what they would do is like open the portal that people could submit their passport renewals online, and then like at 1 p.m. usually is what I have read, and then they would close it as soon as they got too many that could be processed. But now the State Department says that they are able to process passport renewals much more quickly. They're getting better at it, and so they expect to not have to shut that portal so quickly, if at all. So if you are looking at renewing your passport, here, let me tell you what the requirements are to be able to do it online. You cannot make any changes to your name, gender, date of birth, or place of birth. You cannot be traveling internationally for at least 8 weeks from the day you submit your application. You can only be applying for a regular passport. The passport that you currently hold cannot be lost, stolen, damaged, or mutilated, it says. You have to pay with your credit card or debit card if you are going to renew this way, and you have to be able to upload your photo as a JPEG. And then finally, an applicant's recent passport has to have been issued between 9 and 15 years before the application date. Does that make sense? So you can't have a newer passport and want to renew it. That's not going to work. It has to be between 9 and 15 years from the application date. Okay. Now I'm going to try this. So my passport is going to expire. I need to get one before I do some of my travel next year. And with this is something I really want you to remember. When you go on a cruise and a lot of the other travel that you do, they require that your passport is good for 6 months beyond the date that you return. Okay, and that can be tricky. So mine expires at the end of next January, and so we've got a cruise in Europe for our Christmas markets in December. And then I've got a cruise out of the U.S. Right now, 2 of them in November, and so on and so on. So I'm going to have to pick a window of time that I'll be home that I can get that renewed. So really pay attention. Sometimes things just sneak up on us, and so really pay attention to your passport expiration date. Okay. Now, in association with that, a quick note, I know that we don't talk about Disney Cruise Lines quite as often around here, but I know that we've got Let's Go family members who are amazing at traveling on Disney Cruise Lines and just love it. From what they say about it, I need to give it a try sooner than later. But Disney used to allow people to bring a copy of their birth certificate. No more. You're going to have to start showing up with a certified copy, meaning it came from the courthouse, whatever, that issues those for where you were born. So make sure you make that note. Princess has required that, the other cruise lines for a long time, but Disney is also making that change as well. Alrighty, and I want to point out also, I talked about this earlier than the week, like on Monday, and I'm worried that it got buried in all of the other information. They've got that new entry and exit system that they are running in the EU as people who are not residents of countries who are in that whole Schengen agreement area. As they enter, they're going to be keeping track of you now rather than stamping your passport. They're going to be doing it with biometrics, like with your face recognition, your fingerprint. And as I was thinking about it and telling you that I was anxious to see how it worked, I think I've already experienced it, but they are just going to have it running everywhere now. They are to the point that starting, I believe it's November 10th, it's the 10th or the 15th, I think it's the 10th, that it is going to go into effect there in Europe, that as you enter that region, that one of the Schengen countries there, you are going, they're going to start keep keeping track of you that way. I know that when we've entered some countries, believe it or not, they can do it with facial recognition. They'll still open your passport and stamp it, but they've got your information with what they already took from you. So I am still looking forward to hearing from everyone about it when that starts in November. And some of you have already graciously told me you'll let me know. So thank you so much. The next big update, and this is really going to matter for those of you that like to go to Europe and go traveling before or after a cruise, or you're just going to go do that, because sometimes people like to cruise and sometimes they just fly places and ride the train and go see places. So clear back in February, they had announced that they were going to start limiting the number of bags that you can take when you go on the train. And the train, the French National Railways is the one who announced it first, but I have seen just notices here and there as you look at train travel that a lot more of the train lines are looking at that in a lot of other countries. And so don't think because you haven't seen it in headlines on one of the news agencies that they're going to let you take as much luggage as you want. Truly, I think the limits that they are putting in place, I don't think I could carry any more than that. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But when you get on the train there, first of all, when you get on the train, it says that you can have either you can bring one hand luggage and two suitcases, or one hand luggage. I'm thinking like, your backpack or a tote bag, and one suitcase, plus like if you have an instrument or a piece of sporting equipment. So basically you get your one piece of hand luggage, your backpack, your tote bag, whatever it is, briefcase, and then you also get your two pieces of luggage, but they also have some size limits on that. So your hand luggage can measure 40 by 30 by 15 centimeters, while suitcases can measure 90 by 70 by 50 centimeters. Now, the reason that it's really important to measure is because a lot of times what we allow as our sizes of suitcases here in the United States and some other places in the world differs greatly from what they consider to be hand luggage and carry-on size luggage in European countries. So there's your heads up about paying attention to your luggage if you're going to go on a train. Before we go any further, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, will you please go ahead and hit that subscribe button? Doesn't cost anything, doesn't obligate you to anything, but it really helps us out around here, and I think you'll like being part of the amazing group here. Also, if you appreciate my updates, will you please give our video a thumbs up? That really helps us out as well. So thanks so much. Now, Norwegian. What do we need to talk about with Norwegian today? Well, it was about a year ago when there was the big uproar that all of these guests got on a Norwegian cruise. That cruise was for Greenland. That's why everyone booked it. That was the main destination for the cruise. Everybody gets on ready to go, and after they're on board, Norwegian says, we're not going to Greenland. That was really, really a big deal, huge deal when they were doing that. So I've got a heads up for you about them doing it, not to Greenland this time, but they've got a December 11th, 2024 sailing of the beautiful new Prima that was supposed to go to Bermuda. Admittedly, when people book a cruise to Bermuda that goes to Bermuda, they want to go to Bermuda. Bermuda is a big destination for cruisers, and I have not been there yet, but it's on my list. So we'll be giving that a try, but I thought I would let you know that they have taken Bermuda off and the changes that they're making, and then I'm going to talk to you about why, because that's where the heads up comes in. So first of all, they're going to spend more time, if you can believe it or not, in Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. They are going to arrive earlier than they were supposed to arrive and stay later, so now they're going to stay there until 8 p.m. In the evening. I have been to Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic, and while it's a nice place, nice people there, I don't need to stay there that long, so they are staying there a long time. And then they're going to get to Puerto Rico. They were supposed to be in port there from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Now they're only going to be there, so that is basically 11 hours. Now they're just going to be there from noon until 8 p.m. So they've lost 3 hours in Puerto Rico. They are supposed to visit St. Thomas, and the hours for that Visit has not changed, and the same Tortola. They are going to be in Tortola for 1 hour less as well, and not even go to Bermuda. The thing that really stands out to me about this change is they call it their environmentally sustainability cause. And I don't think that's it. I think that if a company wants to be environmentally responsible, they need to do that before they sell their product to guests. I do like that they are letting guests know this now rather than when they get on the ship. I think that's really important. But here we are in the middle of September, and they are changing what is basically a holiday time cruise, so that if people hear this change and they decide, well, you know what, let's not do that one. Let's take our family. Let's go on a different cruise at the same time of year. It is much harder to find a cruise to book in that window of time because of how cruises are booked right now. So if you have holiday travel that you want to do, or anything later in this year, now is the time to figure out when you're going to be able to do that travel. So I love Norwegian, been on Norwegian, I'm going to go on Norwegian again, but I just wanted to let you know that they seem to have a habit of doing this at inconvenient times, and so just be aware. Just keep your eye out. Watch your itinerary, I guess is what you're thinking, because you never know when their environmental department, I think they're just trying to save gas. They save gas, they save port fees doing that. I did some research trying to find the comparison between Bermuda port fees and Puerto Plata port fees, and so I think there's way more involved here than just what's environmental, but I don't know because I don't work there, but it's just a thought that's crossed my mind. So in the comments, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about all that. Plus, let me know if you're going to be riding the train soon, if you're going to be renewing your passport. I just love to talk everything over with all of you, and I really appreciate you coming. Oh, and you know what? Tomorrow we're going to talk about my cruise on Azamara next week. I was going to talk about it today, but we had all these other things come up, so I'll be talking to you more about that tomorrow as well, and why I'm even trying Azamara in the first place. So I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.